government, and it's protected by that agricultural entity in the region as well.
Maria, where's that region? Near Naples.
Yeah. So, Neapolitan South Pizza, Naples, Italy, the San Marzano tomato, Mount Vesuvius, all the soil that's there and the conditions that are perfect for that tomato make that region really important to pizza and pizza culture. So, do you think that that's the first place where pizza was served?
No.
No, you're all right. You guys are all right. You finally all got one right. That's pretty good. What'd you say? Spain. It's kind of a trick question. So pizza was originally known by the word Picea, P-I-C-E-A. That's when it first started coming into the lexicon of people. Originally, Picea would have been just a flat bread with some ingredients on it, not tomatoes. This can be associated with Greek people, Turkish people. It can be associated with Germanic cultures as well. But eventually it makes its way to Italy. So we're back on the interstate here, and I'm going to take a break from talking about pizza for a second because there's a couple of things I'd like to point out in terms of Milwaukee area and Milwaukee architecture and things like that as we go along the way. So the Menominee Valley, you guys, is a really important part of Milwaukee because this was one of the first places that would have been populated. What are we yelling at? Potawatomi. Very important. So Potawatomi is in the Menominee Valley. I think it makes a lot of sense because in the 1600s, none of these buildings would have been here. The Menominee Valley would have been swamp or marshland all the way from the lake all the way up to where Miller Park is. You would have only been able to navigate this area by canoe, and you mostly would have been pushing through cattails and rice paddies at the time. Native Americans would have used this as a trading outpost. There was about 36,000 Native Americans that would come to this specific area to trade goods. So who caught wind of that? French Canadian fur trappers. They were the ones who eventually came down to this area and were able to make friends with those Native Americans. The first individual to build a structure here in Milwaukee was a man named LTA who married a Potawatomi Native American woman. So all this area would have been underwater at the time. We're going to talk a little bit more about that when we make our way back to Bayview. But we're coming up on an important pizza landmark in the city. If you look out to the left, coming up here, you'll see Palermo's, right? What is Palermo's, right?
Giacomo!
Giacomo Palermo. That's absolutely right. So Palermo's is the only major pizza factory in Milwaukee. They're making pizzas, and they're also the only place that you can go and get a factory tour that ends with a slice of pizza. You can go there at any point in time during the day and go get a pizza from their cafe. Now, I say any time of day because just told me this like 2 days ago, who was on a tour, that she works for Palermo's and they make breakfast pizzas. You can stroll into there and you can have pizza for breakfast. Now, if you guys will oblige me, I'd like to try and say another Italian word and get ridiculed. So, Palermo's doesn't look like a traditional factory, right? It looks like a Tuscan villa. And that's absolutely right. It's meant to look like a villa, and the villa is called Villa Le Volte.
Not tall. You can't really see it. It's short. It's not a small building.
Yeah.
But it's down there.
It's back and to the left over there. So, why does it look like this Tuscan villa? Well, it's a pizza place. They want to give the air of something of Tuscany. It's also representative of this Villa Le Volte, which is important because it was one of the first U-shaped villas as opposed to the square-shaped architecture that you would normally see. Am I live on Periscope right now? What's up, fans? What's up, fans? What's up, homies?
Oh, I gotta tune in so I can see what you're saying.
This is our first Milwaukee Food and City tour on Periscope, probably. There's probably also... Wait, I gotta do this. Copyright.
It's on MySpace. So.
Oh,
Wait.
Oh, that's cool. I'm friends with Tom, so it's no big deal.
He's right here.
Come on, hold your camera steady so I can see. What'd you say?
Alright, so we're going to make our way to the Carodero Club. We'll talk a little bit about the Carodero Club as we approach it, but it is in the Washington Heights neighborhood. If anybody here is familiar with Washington Heights, they would know that Washington Heights is known for Washington Park, one of the largest parks in the city. When it was originally built, it was designed by Frederick Olmsted. Frederick Olmsted may be familiar to you all because he is the landscape architect that built Central Park in New York. He also helped to build the 1933 Columbia Exposition, better known as the Chicago World's Fair. There was a book about that called The Devil in the White City, which features him prominently. So this is the premier land architect in the United States for the last 100 years, and he built a park right here in Milwaukee. This would have been one of the most popular spots to go to during the day for everyone in the city. It originally housed a lagoon, a band shell, as well as a zoo. So people would go here, they would listen to music, they would drink beer in the park as they were close to many of the breweries that were located over here to our left. Behind us here, this is Washington Park. A lot of the structures here are
That's
still,
not part of the tour, is it?
still exist and are from that era. And at the time, this would have been one of the most important places, meeting points in the city. We're gonna head this way on to Belief, and we're gonna head towards the Caradero Club. So, why is Wade and I taking you to the Caradero Club? Do you guys know?
5 blocks.
You don't know?
Oh, really? Yeah.
No? So this is a really important piece of history for Milwaukee and a really important piece of history for the food tour. You guys are going to the Caradero Club, which in 1945, when it opened in the 3rd Ward in its original location, was the first location in Wisconsin and the first place in Milwaukee, anywhere in this area, that you could get pizza. This is the first place. This is the first recognized place in Wisconsin where pizza was served.